Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast. I'm Rose, and I'm a content creator going by the handle Cheap Lazy Vegan, and I also own a vegan cafe by the same name as the podcast, which is SaVeg Cafe.
And I'm Daniel, also a vegan, and one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends currently living in different countries, and we'll be giving our savage take on all things life, veganism, and the latest trending topics.
So basically, whatever comes to our minds, because we love to talk.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Hey, guys.
So today, guys, what are we talking about?
Well, today we've got some news for you.
New developments.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about two main topics today.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to sprinkle in other things as well, I'm
Exactly.
sure.
We like to, as you guys know, we like to digress and go into random tangents and things.
That is the beauty of podcasts.
Exactly. This is so true. So true.
What are we talking about, Daniel?
So today we have two big things we're going to talk about. So number one, and again, I'm not sure how many listeners know about what's happening in Canada and stuff, but there's a big scandal that's been happening with our Prime Minister.
Is this interesting? I just realized that maybe people don't find this shit interesting. Let me know, guys.
Yeah, let us know. But
whatever. We'll talk about it. We'll make it interesting
Exactly.
because whatever we talk about, we make it interesting.
Exactly. We can talk about celebrity stuff. We can talk about other stuff. We got another update about Ellen as well.
Oh, shit. Yeah. And you know what, Daniel? I smell some beer coming from your way.
You don't. Do you actually?
I actually do smell it a little bit. Just a very slight whiff.
God damn.
Beer. Daniel was out drinking beer.
I had a few beverages. Mm-hmm. Okay, but before we digress into this, let's just talk about the two main topics quickly.
We're talking about the we scandal.
The we scandal with Trudeau and
our
and
Prime
blah,
Minister.
blah, blah. Yeah. And the other one is around our favorite person to talk about, which is Donald Trump and the recent situation that's going on with TikTok in the US.
And how he wants to ban TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in.
So those are our topics. But before we do that.
Yeah. What's up? Are you gonna complain about something?
Yeah, I have a vent.
Okay.
I have a vent that I have to talk about before
This is like our way to complain. I love it.
Exactly. It's like our way to let out that anger. And I just wish my hair's a little bit of a situation
Your
at the moment.
hair is a beautiful situation.
Because of the wind.
It'd be looking nice and beautiful and waxy as hell.
I know. I got some product in there. No, but okay.
Okay, what are we complaining about today?
I don't know. I mean, I want to complain about it because it just pisses me off.
Is it about dating apps again?
No, it's not about dating apps. It's about something that happened to us while we went out for dinner the other day.
What happened? Wait,
do you remember when we were sitting in that lovely little patio and we had about 400 motorbikes go by and blaring their engines?
Oh my God, yeah. So this is a thing. I don't know,
Is this a thing everywhere? I don't know. Is this a Calgarian thing?
No, I'm sure there are still other places that deal with this issue. But basically, there are some, what do you call them? Motorists that are, on their big Harleys or whatever the hell those things are called.
Yeah.
Like motorbikes. Clearly, I don't know much of this lingo, but.
Ripping down the highway.
And it's not even the highway. It's like we would sit in like a patio and it would be supposedly a quiet road. It's just like a, road, maybe like 50 kilometers an hour is the speed limit.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And then for some reason, there's just a group of these men on these goddamn motorcycles that like to rev their engine. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Rev their engine like. Brrr,
oh my
brrr,
God.
And then it's like so loud that it literally disturbs everyone.
It drives me insane because I'm like, the thing is too is like,
it's one of my biggest pet peeves.
In Calgary as well. It's like there's so many places if you want to go rev your engine and you want to do that. There are so many places you can go that you can do that.
And they can't annoy people.
Well,
they have to do it in front of people so that they know that they're cool.
But I think it's not that they were deliberately trying to annoy people. What they're trying to do though is like they want to look cool, right? They're like, oh, we want to like show that we're on this amazing motorbike and we're gonna rev down 17th Ave where it's like a really busy street where there's lots of people on patios.
Yeah. And it's so annoying because like nobody likes them and like you need to realize I mean seriously, if any of these people are listening to this fucking podcast, y'all need to realize that you do not look cool. You just look stupid.
Exactly.
And you look like you're trying to compensate for something. Let's be fucking real.
What is the saying?
I will not say this in order for this to be PG, but
it's basically that these people are overcompensating.
It has to do with a male
body part.
Seriously, they're trying to overcompensate. Anyways, last time we went, and there was like literally like 40 motorcycles.
I think it was more than that. It was like
so bad.
so many motorcycles, and they all stopped, and all of them, while they're stopped, were like revving their engines and like just
Why is this a thing? Do something better with your time.
Exactly.
It's fine if you want to ride your motorcycle or whatever, okay, but don't be a nuisance. Is that the word?
Nuisance.
I can never say that word.
Nuisance.
It's one of those words I can't say.
Really?
Nuisance.
Nuisance. Yes, you said it. Okay. I was like,
What's
you sound like you're trying to be French
nuisance.
there. Nuisance. Ooh, a nuisance.
I don't know why I say it like that. There's another word that I can't say. Or I don't say properly. It's I can't remember what it was.
There's many words you don't say properly, Rose, but we won't go into that anyway.
I speak very properly, my friend. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so basically I guess Daniel just wanted to complain about that.
Well, it's just like a pet peeve. So like, it's just like one of those
biggest pet peeve.
It's just like,
it drives me insane.
it's super annoying.
Because you're having a nice conversation with somebody and, you just want to enjoy a nice, peaceful time on the patio, and it's beautiful out. It's a wonderful day. Everyone's happy. And then all you hear is just this loud, obnoxious, and you're just like, why do you need to do that? And it happens so often on 17th Avenue.
Oh my God. It's like the focal point of people to go with their, not just motorbikes, but like cars as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. They just drive up and down
because
they want to look cool because that's all they have to show for their boring ass lives.
I know.
So they're just like, I just want to try and look cool in front of all these people because I have nothing else to show because I have no personality and a tiny little
And the thing is, it's funny because like I just don't understand this mentality. Like I actually have a situation that happened like years ago. One of my friends was seeing this guy, right? And he actually came to my house to pick me up because we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, like I don't know if it was like, I don't know why he was like, he's just like one of those guys that just like needs to look cool or whatever. And basically, while he was driving us to this place, he was like a speed demon. Like he was going so fast.
Oh my God, I can't.
And then he would like come up so close behind another car and like slam on the brakes like really, really quickly. And the whole time I was just like, I want to get out of this car. We're going to get into a car accident. This guy's a fucking idiot. Why is my friend dating him?
Yeah.
And I was like, shit.
And then did they end up together?
No, they've broken up now.
Okay, good. Seriously, I can't.
I know. And this is when we were younger. So I think maybe it was like, when
he's trying to be cool.
Yeah. And it was like.
Okay, there's nothing cool about going super fast that endangers people. Okay?
Exactly. You're endangering people's lives.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. It's just.
Anyway, so yeah. Okay. Any other rants? Any other rants?
Do you have any rants?
I don't know if I have any rants.
Well, that's a first. How do you not have a rant, Rose?
I'm sure I'll rant as we talk about this.
You definitely will. Okay.
About these issues. So Daniel, did you do research on the Wee scandal?
I did a little bit of research.
So if you guys don't know, the prime minister of this country is Justin Trudeau. He is the son of Pierre Trudeau, who was also a prime minister of Canada a few years ago.
Pierre Trudeau was our prime minister a long time ago.
A long time ago, yes.
Yeah, and he was like a very, very famous.
He was very popular.
He was hugely popular.
He was popular among the ladies as well, just like Justin Trudeau is as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Justin Trudeau is pretty hot?
I mean, he's good looking.
He's very good looking.
When it comes to politicians, okay, you have to take a look around, okay? Who? Okay,
Who's that good?
Have you ever heard of the reverse cheerleader effect? When everyone is so, the cheerleader effect when it's like you have a bunch of people together and because like everyone is like relatively good looking, it makes people look better.
No, that's not the cheerleader effect.
Okay, what's the cheerleader effect?
Thanks for trying to explain that, Daniel.
Yeah, well, can you?
Do you know where it's from, Daniel? I told you about it, right?
You did, yeah.
Because you never watched How I Met Your Mother, right?
No.
Okay, so the cheerleader effect, for those of you that haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, is basically when you just see a group of girls, right? But it can be with guys as well. But you see a group and from afar, like because they're in a group, they all seem to be very good looking because they're in this like group. So if you see a big group of girls, you just think, oh, like they're like really hot. But then if you look at them individually, not so much.
Okay.
So maybe it's not the best.
So yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say with the prime minister, but like okay,
as in like no one is good looking in politics, so he looks even better.
Exactly. Because if you look at his competition, I mean, you have Boris Johnson in the UK,
oh,
you have Donald Trump in the US. I mean, come on,
no, but Justin Trudeau is objectively a good looking.
No,
man.
he is.
Even if he wasn't a politician.
Exactly.
I remember before he became, Justin Trudeau, the prime minister, I thought he was a very good looking man. And Leslie actually met him. One of our friends actually met him one time.
How?
So she used to work at a hotel. Well, she does work at a hotel.
Yeah.
But she used to work at the front desk of a hotel.
Yeah.
And I think this was before he was prime minister, but I could be wrong. Sorry, my hair is on the mic.
No, your hair be everywhere. God damn.
I know my hair be everywhere. So she was working front desk and he came in to get a room.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so cool. But then, you know, you have to be professional.
Of
So
course,
she can't be like, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah.
Although I would have been so tempted. I would have been like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Justin Trudeau.
I like usually don't like fangirl, I guess it's called, over
Yeah.
people and stuff.
Yeah.
But there has been a few. So I did. The person that I met wasn't like super famous,
Okay.
but like basically she's a recording artist and a Canadian recording artist. And at the time she had like
what was her name?
Krisha Turner.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, she had that like "Don't call me baby anymore." Anyway, those of you
I
that
would love
know,
to hear that again.
oh god, that's not gonna happen again. But anyway, she came into the restaurant that I was working at the time while I was in university, and I really loved her song, and I liked her her album was really really good, and I was like, oh my god, she was there with a friend.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, you know, and I don't want to like, I obviously know they're there for breakfast and like enjoying their time and whatever. So I just, I did go up to her table and I was like, oh, hey, like I know who you are and whatever. And then I was just like, like I don't want to disrupt you guys. Obviously you're having your breakfast and stuff, but like after, if you wouldn't mind, like maybe.
Can we get a picture?
Yeah. And she said, yeah. So
was she nice?
Yeah, she was
That's
so
good.
sweet.
That's good.
And she signed like a little thing for me as well. And I was like, I think I still have it somewhere in my house, you know? So.
Oh, you're so cute.
It was cute. Yeah.
Oh.
But
I've had a few celebrity run-ins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I remember one time. So my dad, oh God, look at us just rambling on once again.
Yeah.
So my dad one time, well, no, not one time. When we were living in Korea still, he worked at a broadcasting company called MBC.
Yeah.
It's one of the big broadcasting companies. So he worked there for a long time. So he has some connections in this like broadcasting world.
Yeah.
So one time when I was like 16 or something, I was in Korea visiting and I got to tour one of the other broadcasting companies called SBS. And they have like this whole big, you know,
that's super cool.
Yeah. So I went to the one in Seoul. I went to see like this like concert. It wasn't the actual concert, but it was like the rehearsal of the concert. And I was like, oh my God. Because at the time I was like really into K-pop.
Yeah.
So I saw all these like K-pop artists that I really like. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I didn't like get to talk to them. I just saw them. Yeah. And then I saw that there was a little like studio, like a radio studio, where like this like Korean singer that I liked at the time, he was doing like a radio show, and we like me and my friend like waited outside to like you know because I really liked him. Yeah. And then he came out, and then we were like, oh, can we? We're like 16-year-old girls, right? Yeah. So it's kind of embarrassing, but we're like, oh, can we get a picture with you? And he was so not having it.
Really?
Yeah, he was so like his face just like never once smiled, and just looked at us like, oh, a picture, and then took a picture, didn't even smile for the photo. He was such a dick.
That's crazy.
And I was just like I kind of get it. You might be a bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But like just smile for the photo.
Yeah, but at the same time, okay, obviously there's a time and a place, but also he has to remember like part of the reason why he's famous is because of people like you guys. Yeah. Do you know like us? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I mean I get that you would get annoyed, but also like I don't know. We're like 16. Come
exactly.
on.
And it's not like you were disturbing him while he was out for dinner or something. He was doing work.
Out, yeah, and then he came out and we just like asked for a quick photo. Anyways, so that happened. Sorry. But anyways, let's talk about the actual things that we were going to talk about.
That's true. Sorry, I just needed to switch positions.
Are you uncomfortable? You're really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just like.
I'm sorry. Do you need a cushion?
No, I'm fine. But yeah, I just think I get why. Okay, you know, obviously celebrities are hounded all the time for like pictures and everything else, but at the end of the day, if you're not interrupting their like everyday like lives and stuff, they have to remember like part of the reason why they're a celebrity is because they have fans and people that are paying for this stuff. So you kind of have to like give a little bit because that's the reason why you're rich and famous, you know? So
I don't know. Anyways, so that was one of my celebrity encounters.
So now onto the.
So we're going to talk about the hotness that is Justin Trudeau.
Oh God, Justin Trudeau,
and the heat that is on him at this moment.
Yes. Well, the thing is, there's been a few situations. Actually, some of these I didn't even know about. So I pulled up this like article by it was like a CNN article, and I knew about the WE a little bit about that scandal, but I guess him and his family had been involved in a few other scandals as well.
Interesting.
So I think this is kind of like, because a lot of people are like, oh, this is just a continue like an icing on the cake.
Right.
So
the WE scandal, let's talk about this.
Okay, so we'll talk about the WE scandal first, and then we can take a little trip down memory lane.
Okay. So
basically, the whole issue with the WE charity. So the WE is a charity, and they were awarded a program from the government. The contract was worth, I guess, $560 million.
660 million.
Sorry, 600. Oh, thank you. My beer goggles, you know. Yeah. So
Grandpa Daniel needs need some reading glasses.
I need some glasses apparently.
Okay.
So it was a $660 million program for students who were unable to find work due to COVID-19.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a government initiative to kind of like help these people and students primarily to during this kind of difficult period. The controversy here. So I guess this particular charity had paid previously members of Trudeau's family for speaking engagements. And during, I guess when governments make these decisions, there has to be like a lot of people present to kind of decide on these contracts, especially the big ones.
Right.
And the issue that they said was that Trudeau himself should have removed himself from this situation and not been part of the decision-making process.
Okay, yeah.
In a sense, because obviously he's going to be...
There's a conflict of interest.
Exactly, conflict of interest. Now, the amount of which his parents or his mother was paid for speaking arrangements was... to approximately $200,000 for various speaking arrangements with the WE.
That's the total?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think about that?
I think it's a bit shit.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it is shit. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think that I was talking about this with my parents, and like I don't know the full details and the full story. I almost feel like they like didn't know any better. Like,
what do you mean, like
Trudeau didn't know any better?
Oh, you mean like
he wasn't malicious, like it wasn't a bribery situation. It was more like, oh, I know these people, we've been, we've had, it's like if you were like, let's say you had a client, right? And of course he as a politician, you do have to be aware of that. So I'm not trying to be like you're innocent, but I don't think there was like a malicious intent. That's what I meant. But at the same time, like, you should be careful when you are a prime minister. You should definitely be aware of the fact that there are conflicts of interest. Yeah. And
I agree with you in some respects that there might not have been malicious intent. Where I find it difficult is like, I just think of like roles that I've had in businesses and stuff. Yeah. And they're so careful. Like, for example, I worked at a bank before, and like, they're very, very like careful about like so many different things. And you as an employee of the bank, you know, certain things that would be considered fraudulent or would be considered conflict of interest, would be considered all this stuff. So my question is, or not my question, but like, maybe he didn't do it intentionally in a malicious way, because maybe he did think, oh, we've worked with, my family's done stuff with this company before, they're really fantastic. And Trudeau did claim at one point that the WE was the only charity in Canada able to manage this multi-million-dollar contract. So there's partly that, but again,
so he didn't remove himself from the decision-making board is the biggest problem.
That's the big problem. Yes. Yeah. So basically it wasn't a, what's it called? It wasn't an unbiased decision from the government to award a contract to the best party per se.
Maybe he isn't innocent, because the thing is, like, you're right, because as a government, you would think you would have all the resources in the world to have knowledge of like, okay, certain things are, 100%. Corrupt, or it could look corrupt or whatever it is.
And again, like, just think about it, because like I reflect on my own personal experiences and like what I've done in my life. Yeah. And it's like, even just working at a bank, when I worked at a bank in the past, it's like there's so many rules, there's so many like things in place, and I would imagine in a government position it would be the same. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You would know as a prime minister, like. And again, I don't think he did it intentionally in a sense that to be malicious or anything like that. Yeah. But I think that he did kind of have some understanding that this could be seen as controversial. Because.
But how would he think that he could get away with that?
I don't know. Maybe he thought that maybe people. I honestly don't know.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Like, a lot of politicians do this kind of stuff, and they do get caught. Some of them, and things get brought up. So. I don't know. So,
well, I mean, Daniel and I discussed this off air one time, and my initial thought was like, I think it's because I follow a lot of like U.S. politics, and so I'm kind of jaded because I follow U.S. politics, and there's a lot more corruption in U.S. politics.
100%.
Like Canadian politics, and Canadians are like, I think Canada is one of the top countries for like not having corruption. Yeah. So because of that, it's like, I think that's why initially when I saw this, I was like, $200,000, it's not even that much money. So that was like my initial reaction, which I mean shouldn't be like that, because it's still money, and you're still, again, there is still that conflict of interest. Exactly. But I think it just shows that, like, I'm glad that it became a scandal. I'm glad that people are looking into it. I'm glad that it became news, because you can't let stuff like this continue and like brush it under the rug, because then it gets worse.
Exactly.
And I think we become like the US.
Exactly. And I think in this, hopefully never that bad.
Oh, God.
I think in this, it's funny because like, I'm not going to say who, but somebody commented or someone sent us a DM on Instagram, really, really cute message being like, oh, I love you guys, whatever. And then they were like, you know what? I know you guys commented quite a bit about the US.
Yeah.
And it's even worse than what you guys think.
Oh my God.
I was just like, oh my God. They were like, you know what? You don't need to sugarcoat this.
Really?
Like way with the situation. I was like,
Shit.
oh God damn.
Well, have you heard actually, just to another piece of news, the US now is facing a big eviction crisis, because what's happening is, because for example, in Canada, we got what was called the SaVeg.
Yeah.
Which is basically a government program where they paid people that lost their job because of COVID or lost work because of COVID, or is making anything less than $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
They gave, you can easily apply for this, and they gave everyone that falls into that category $2,000 a month for the last like 5 months. Initially, it was like 3 or 4 months,
and it's been extended.
Well, it did not. It was 3 or 4 months, and then it got extended. I think this is the last month.
No, I think it's extended again.
Again?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I'm pretty sure.
Okay, they need to stop extending this at this point.
Oh, God damn.
Because the problem with this SaVeg is that I'm happy the government is helping, and I do think government should step in and help in these situations, of course, because like, what are you going to do when people can't pay their mortgage or can't pay their rent and stuff like that? So it's going to create problems. But the problem with the SaVeg, I think what they should do or should have done is that they should have just given everyone, and I know it sounds crazy, but like, the problem now is that if you have this like mandate of you have to only be making $1,000 a month or less, then people are not wanting to work right now.
Well,
so this is the problem. So a lot of restaurants, I've heard, because I know people that are working restaurants, the people that are working their asses off because employees don't want to work, because why would they work when they can get $2,000 for free?
Yeah, true.
So that creates this problem.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough. It's a tough call, but I think people should, at this point, come on, we've got like get your shit together at this point. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a bit annoying, because I think this is one thing that does irritate me about government programs. Yeah. I think in many ways they're like super good and super beneficial, but I also think you have people that take advantage of the system.
Well, why wouldn't you take advantage when the government is giving everyone that makes less than $1,000 a month $2,000? Like, why would you want to work?
Exactly.
Right? So it's like,
because you might not make more than that full time.
Exactly. Especially those service workers. Like, why would I work? Like, if I was doing a service job, like working at a restaurant or something, why would I want to work if I could just get $2,000 a month?
Yeah.
But again, I'm not against, of course, I'm not against government programs. I do think that they should have just made it a universal thing, or just like, because I think that's what the NDP was suggesting, but people thought it was crazy. But I'm like, well, do you want like, it's better this way, because then people are going to work more. They're still going to work.
Or maybe they should have put it so that like, I'm not exactly sure how the SaVeg works, but maybe they should have put it whereby, for example, in those situations where people have the opportunity to go back to work, but they choose not to. Yeah,
but how are you going to manage that? How are you going to dictate that, right?
But like, I'm saying it, well, yeah, you're right. But like, I mean, I'm just meaning like, if there was a way so that they could see like, if people are allowed to go back to work, but they're refusing not to because they want to get this 2,000, then it should be revoked.
But then they could just say, oh, well, I didn't feel safe going back to work.
That's true. Yeah. And so many people are doing that. Yeah. Like, so many people.
Yeah. So that's a big issue. So did they extend it again?
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure.
Again? For how long?
I read for another 3 months. So I don't know if that's the most recent one.
The front door.
But my dad was saying, because apparently Trudeau was doing a speech and he was like, there's going to be no Canadians left behind, blah, 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 blah. And like, the thing is, it's good that the government's doing this, but people have to remember, like, where is this money coming from? The government is borrowing this money to pay us, are they not? Do you know what I mean? Because like, because the way the government gets their money is through taxes, right? So if they're not earning tax money and they're dishing out all of this like payments and stuff, see, SaVeg has been extended.
When did that happen though? Hold on, let me just see here.
July 2nd.
No, I think this is a bit different, isn't it?
I don't know. No, anyways, but I swear like it got extended for like another, wait, where does it say?
That's a different thing.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I know that like, you know, the government is you know, doing it as best they can to try to like combat this, because, you know, globally, I mean, we're looking at like a global recession, right? So
so I get it. I just think that, you know, we're gonna have to have people working again, so that's a problem. But the whole point was, so we got these government programs to help people not starve and not, you know, get evicted so that they can pay rent and all that stuff, which I think is great. But then in the US, they only got a $1,200 like stimulus check, as they called it. And I think they only got it once.
Yeah, I heard this as well.
Which is insane, because And then, so this is the problem, because I think we talked about this before. So they got this $1,200 check, and most, like a majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck in the US.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you get one check of $1,200, which is not that much,
Which is nothing.
and then you're also told, because of this pandemic, you have to stay home, which makes sense because there's a pandemic.
Of course.
And then what are you going to do? You can't work. You know, a lot of people are unemployed now.
Yeah.
And you've gotten $1,200 from the government. And then now, so what's happening is, I think there was like a big graph that somebody like had a map of the US, and it showed the number of people, or the percentage of people that can't pay rent in the next month. And it was like astonishing. It was like 30, it was like, I think the lowest state was like 25%, something like that. And then everything was like 40%, 30%, 50% almost. So basically, you're having like, I don't know, 30-40% of people not being able to pay rent.
Yeah. And the thing about that situation is we have to remember, because like economies are very complex and all interlinked, it's a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
So we saw this with the financial crisis, obviously, right?
Yeah.
You had people unable to pay their mortgages, which created a toppling effect of, you know, defaulting in mortgages, which created a default of like investments. And we saw this crash. Yeah. So like if you have this same kind of situation with people not able to pay rent, it's going to trickle. It has a trickling effect, right? You have these people that aren't going to be able to pay rent, and there's going to be some landlords that aren't financially able to make their mortgage obligations,
of course,
which are then going to contribute to the banks, which are then going to contribute to XYZ. So you're having this like effect that's going to basically snowball through the economy, and it's going to make things a lot worse.
Yeah.
So it's freaking scary.
It's crazy. So I don't know why I got on that topic, but but yeah, so there is that crisis potentially happening. Oh, I think it's because we were talking about how the US is like, you know, it's apparently much worse than we can imagine. And that's just one example of I don't know what's going to happen, because so you would expect at that point, you would expect that the government says, okay, no evictions. Let's give money to landlords to like, you know, to help out while their, you know, renters can't pay rent.
Exactly.
But then they don't, of course. And apparently the Democrats proposed I think they said, oh, we'll give the rights to a lawyer. Like everyone can get a lawyer if they get evicted. That was their solution.
And how is that helping anyone?
So that they can sue? Like, I don't know.
So that they can sue.
I don't know. Such an American way to handle it.
Oh my God, I know. It's like, let's just sue. We're going to sue our landlord for evicting us because we can't pay rent because we didn't get a stimulus check, or we got a stimulus check, but it didn't enough to pay it. We don't have our jobs. We can't go back to our jobs. So we can't afford to live anywhere else.
Oh my God, seriously. It's so bad, actually. Like, imagine that, right?
No, but even now, like it's scary because like I have like friends that have lost jobs that are, well, luckily in Canada they get the CERB, right? So they're able to like just scrape by, pay their mortgage and stuff. But again, they're like saying if they don't get a job and CERB ends, they're not going to be able to make their financial obligations. We're getting into a Great Depression. Yeah, like I mean, because eventually, the government can't keep, even in Canada, they can't continually pay for this because they only have so much money and they can only borrow so much. Mm-hmm. So eventually, they're going to have to shut that down. And that's when we're going to really feel some big effects unless things have changed a little bit, you know? So it is really, really scary times. And I think one thing, going back to the like we kind of thing, the we scandal, I think in some ways, I think it's kind of good that this has been brought up, like you said, because it highlights like, I mean, I know there's corruption in every single government, but the fact that because Trudeau's family is so linked to this charity and is making money from this charity, it's good that this was brought up. And I think that the issue isn't how much his mom made or that his family made money. It's the fact that, sorry, there was a fly. Yeah. It's a fact that him and I think one of his other friends or somebody in the parliament or whatever, they didn't remove themselves from the decision-making process. Right. So I think the issue isn't that his family made money from this charity. Yeah. That's part of it. But had it been an unbiased decision making as to which is the best charity to run this, and it had been chosen the We charity, the We charity, whatever, had been chosen in that way, it would be fine. Yeah. But it's the fact that he was present during the decision making and likely, and I might be assuming things here, but did influence that decision in some aspects. Yeah. That's why it looks shady, because you're saying you've influenced that decision and your family is directly benefiting. However, if you remove yourself, regardless of your family benefits, if we as a panel decide it's the best charity, it's okay that your family's benefiting
Yeah.
because, we've already decided that this is the best for this particular, what we're trying to do.
Right.
So I think that's what the main problem was. And I do
Makes
like,
sense.
yeah, I do like that it was brought up though, because
Oh, for sure.
it just highlights that, again, not like bigging up Canada so much, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's good that this was brought up because in a lot of countries, this wouldn't be.
Yeah.
This wouldn't even be discussed. It would be
It's
like
just part of normal life.
Exactly.
It's just normal. Everyone knows that, in a lot of countries, not just the US, but a lot of countries,
100%.
politicians
tons.
are bought, and that's just how it is.
And there's like bribery
Yeah,
and
it's
all
so
sorts
bad.
of things that
It's
happen.
so bad. Yeah.
So
Is he in trouble? The prime minister.
well, they're saying that there's a lot of like it doesn't look good.
It
right?
doesn't look good.
It definitely doesn't look good.
People already don't like Trudeau.
I know he's apologized. There's been a lot of like controversy around Trudeau though, because like there was that.
Trudeau's a very interesting character. I don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about him.
I know it's like there was like another thing that was brought up, which I think it was like brought up like when he was younger, he did blackface, for a party.
So the blackface thing, I don't know. Maybe I have an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's one of those things that, how do I say? I feel like people like to focus on the person when it comes to politics, or
Yeah.
like they look at the politician and dig up something that they did when they were like 20
Yeah.
years old. Yeah, he was stupid. Yeah, he shouldn't have done blackface. Yeah, it was dumb.
Yeah.
But once again, it's like that happened 20 years ago.
Exactly.
When he was a dumb young person.
And who hasn't made
Yeah,
those kind of mistakes when they were
exactly.
young? Do you know what I mean?
How
Like,
does that impact anything, right? So like it has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with our government and how it's run.
Yeah.
It's just something stupid he did. So it's
Yeah.
like I feel like that was just so blown out of proportion. I'm just like, hey, you people need to calm the fuck down.
well, look at even our lives. Like, think about our
Yeah.
early 20s, the kind of stupid stuff that we did.
Yeah.
And does that impact what we would if we were policy decision makers
Exactly.
now? No.
Exactly.
That's something that we did. Maybe we were stupid. Maybe we were drunk. Maybe we were at a party. Maybe we
Yeah.
were like whatever else. And that shouldn't really be such a, maybe again unpopular opinion, but I don't think it should be such a big thing because that's not going to influence my decision making process.
I remember it was such a big deal, and I was like, "Hey, can we focus on real things now? Like, not focus on this little thing." But
Yeah.
people love to focus on these
Oh my
like
God, I
little
know.
scandals, like, "Oh my God, the president slept with the fucking secretary."
Oh God. But there was a few other things, so I'll just read you really
Okay.
quickly because I don't know too much
So
about
the
these.
situation.
There was the Wee situation, but apparently there was also there was so the first thing that happened before the Wee scandal is there was apparently a secretive trip to the Bahamas back in 2016 when Justin Trudeau and his family rode in a helicopter owned by I don't know, somebody, Aga Khan, this billionaire, whose organization had received hundreds of millions of dollars in Canadian federal grants in advance to work, to advance its work overseas. So that was another scandal. They're like, okay, now they're receiving, kind of special treatment. They're having this nice trip to the Bahamas, doing like a helicopter ride. So that was a bit of a scandal. There was also a few years after that, there was another scandal where it appeared that, again, and I don't know how much Trudeau had influence over this, but the government was found to have pressured Attorney General to spare a certain company, one of Canada's largest engineering firms, spare the company from prosecution for apparently this company had bribed Libyan officials for lucrative government contracts. So there's been a few things that have been going on with the Trudeau administration. I guess we can call it administration, right?
Yes, Trudeau administration.
Yeah. So there's been a few. And then this is kind of like another thing that's happened where people are like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a bit, it's definitely shady because again, because the Trudeau family has been kind of like elite status for a long time because Pierre Trudeau was a prime minister when, like in the 70s or something? I don't know.
Exactly.
And so like they're kind of, running in these circles. So then these like conflicts of interest always arise. And like, again, like not saying that he is innocent, but I feel like it's almost like they get swept and they kind of like lose touch of like what they're actually supposed to be doing. So yeah, it looks shady.
It does.
It looks shady.
And again, I know I like referred to working at the bank before.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting because like one of the policies that they have in many banks is they have this thing called persons of interest. So basically anytime you're doing banking for a person of interest would be like a celebrity, would be like a politician, for example. So a politician, if they have a bank account at the bank, they're actually considered high risk. Only because, not high risk, but like
you have to be careful.
You have to be mindful, right? Because you have to see what these politicians are doing, what they're getting money from, all of this kind of stuff, because they're more likely to be undue influence, more likely to get bribes, all this kind of stuff. So if the banks are having these kind of policies, right,
God.
He would know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he would know. And in that position of power, you would know, because we would even know if like we're doing something where it's a little bit like, we're like, oh, will this be a conflict of interest? Will my company think like if you owned a charity?
I don't know. Would we know like at that moment? Like sometimes you might just not think about. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
But anyway, so a bit shady.
Yeah. So I think there's.
So what's happening? Are they? Is he getting prosecuted or what?
Okay. So basically the kind of finale of what's happened with this scandal. So as the controversy was deepening with the government, and a lot of people were disappointed in this.
Yeah.
So the final thing is that the contract has been canceled in a mutually agreed decision between we and the federal bureaucrats now in charge of the program. So
But now who's going to do this program?
Don't know.
Oh God.
So again, is it, were they the only charity that was able to fulfill this contract? We don't know.
Right.
And maybe they would have been the best for this contract, but because of his connections, Trudeau's connections, he should have stepped himself out from the decision making.
Right.
And then this wouldn't be a problem.
Right. Interesting.
So that's kind of where it is now. So we'll see what happens. God damn.
All right. So that's the Canadian scandal, guys. This is how this is why people in the US, I remember I don't know if I talked about this in a podcast, but I had a philosophy professor in university. Did I mention him to you before?
I don't think so.
He was like really funny and I really liked him. He was like my favorite prof, and he was from the US, and he was just this kind of quirky dude, and he I remember like the first day of classes, he basically said, because he was from the US, and he was like, oh, I just think it's hilarious that, because we live in Alberta, so and Alberta is supposed to be the most conservative province of Canada. He's like, I think it's hilarious that Alberta is considered the most conservative province in Canada, because he was from the US. So he's like, I mean, you guys have gay marriage, you have public health care, and it's just adorable that you think that you're the most conservative.
Oh yeah. That's
I thought
funny.
that was funny, but it's true.
Yeah,
like, I mean, people make fun of us, but you know what, we I
think, again, and we've talked about this before, but I think, again, my whole idea of like, if there could be a perfect government, which there's always going to be issues, but it's a good mix between the two, between socialism and between capitalism,
right?
Kind of in the, it's
called a
happy medium,
democratic socialism,
something
or
like this,
social democracy, whatever you want to call it.
All
right, let's talk about TikTok. Speaking of the US,
God damn, we going down south.
Oh my God, so
we going down south to our neighbors.
Someone commented on one of my cheap lazy vegan videos, was like, why does she do this like weird southern accent all the time? It's so annoying.
Oh God.
I was like, I don't know, I'm just weird, okay? God.
We like, what the thing is, and again, I don't want people to take this out of context and think that we're doing this to like make fun of the southern accent. It's because we actually really love it. It's so enduring. It sounds so cute. Yeah.
It's fun to do. We do other accents as well. Oh, Daniel does a very good Australian one. Do it.
Do I? Hang on, let's see if I can do it.
Hi there, wait.
You're like,
let's go home, Daniel.
No, the other day I want to go home. Like, I was doing some cardio. I can't do it. I was doing some cardio in the park, and I just want to go home. That was a weird, like, British.
How
I
do
don't
they
even
say
know.
Park. Yeah, they would say park.
I always think back to this particular incident where me, Rose, and a few of our friends, this was years ago.
Oh, I know.
We went to Banff, right? So Banff is really close to Calgary. It's like an hour drive. And
Banff is a town in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, it's like a little like mountain village. It's really beautiful. Nice. It's super nice to go to. And they have a reputation for having like quite a
lot of Aussies,
a lot of Australians, a lot of tourists in general. It's like a tourist hotspot, like, because you're in the middle of the mountains. It's beautiful. Yeah. And there's a place that you can go to. I don't know if it's even still open, this bar that was there.
Oh my God. Was it called like, I don't
the Sasquatch.
The Sasquatch.
It was called the Sasquatch. Anyway.
And there was a Sasquatch.
There was we actually found a Sasquatch. It was not like a real one, but like a person dressed as a Sasquatch. Anyway, long story short, the night had ended and all of us were going back to our hotel. And we were in the hallway getting into our room, and there was like a random guy like in the room.
Were we not pre-drinking before?
No, I think this is
Okay.
when we got home because I
Sure,
remember
okay.
this guy went to bed. Anyway, this random guy that was like at our hotel like came into our room and was just like talking with us.
Yeah.
And we were like, anyway, long story short, he was Australian and he was like, you know, in Australia, we just like to shorten things. We like to keep it really, really short. Like you
Yeah.
guys say Steve and you like
Yeah, you
draw.
elongate the word.
Yeah, you where we would just be like Steve. You say
He's like,
Steve.
yeah, because we met him and we're like, what's your name? He's like, Steve.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hi, Steve. And he's like, why do you have to elongate every word?
Yeah.
You know, it's Steve, not Steve. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, Steve.
But anyway, that was our little.
Steve. He was
Yeah.
he was a strange man.
He was a very strange man.
Steve.
And
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm from Australia.
And I remember he wouldn't leave our room.
Oh my god, he was so weird.
And we were just kind of like,
Such a
we want to
weirdo.
go to bed. Like, what is this guy doing?
He was
anyway,
so weird.
Anyway,
Maybe
we
we want to talk
digress.
off with you, Daniel.
Oh God.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about TikTok.
Oh God.
In
TikTok.
the United States of America.
United States of America.
Okay, so Donald Trump announced Friday that he was going to ban social media app TikTok from being used within the country.
Do you know why he did that? Why he wanted to do this?
Because of, well, I think the excuse is that TikTok collects data and the Chinese government is collecting data through TikTok, something like that. But let's be fucking honest. Every single app collects data on us.
Exactly. This is the thing that's really kind of annoying. So part of it, they were saying like the way that TikTok, the app collects data is no different than any other app and how
Right.
they collect data.
But because it's a Chinese government.
Exactly. Well, no, it's because it's owned by a Chinese company.
Right.
So it's owned by hang on, I'm gonna
Some kind of Chinese company.
ByteDance or ByteDance.
Sure.
So anyway, because it's owned by a Chinese company, there is speculation or fear that the Chinese government could put pressure on this company and access all the data. So then, like, my question would be, how many other Chinese companies are out there?
Yeah.
So why TikTok? Why all of a sudden are they putting all this pressure? You know what I mean? So
I think he's doing it because remember that there was some kind of thing with TikTok and how, like, maybe it wasn't TikTok, but I feel like he's doing it because the young people are using it and there's probably a lot of anti-Trump stuff on TikTok. Well, that's my guess.
This is part of its interesting time that is coming now.
Yeah.
Right when we're kind of getting to the stages of the U.S. election.
Yeah.
So you know,
he's not doing well in the polls.
No, and you know, he even I remember reading an article actually
Yeah.
recently that he wanted to push back the elections, right? Because it's supposed to happen
Yeah.
November 4th.
Such bullshit.
Yeah, and he was like, well, because of what's going on with the pandemic and whatever else and blah 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 blah.
And he's saying that it's going to be rigged. He's saying that because of mail-in voting. He doesn't trust mail-in voting.
He's against mail-in voting.
It's because he knows he's going to lose. That's why he wants to like postpone the election. It's just such bullshit.
So now he's kind of not scapegoated, but he's looking at TikTok now, like you said, and being like, you know what,
let's focus on doing this,
Exactly.
banning TikTok. So,
and I just don't see what that's going to achieve.
Exactly. It's like, what are you doing? Again, pandemic still happening. Over 150,000 American people have died.
Oh my God. It's getting crazier.
It's crazy. And you are focusing on banning TikTok?
I know.
Like, what in God's name?
Well, it's so frustrating. So I don't know how many of you guys follow us also on Instagram, but I just posted a picture recently, and I mean, it's old news. Like, it happened quite a few weeks ago, but there was like a really, really like such you know, they say a picture says 1,000 words, right?
Yes.
And this picture just did it so perfectly. So Niagara Falls is a space that obviously is shared by both the US and Canada. So you have the US side and you have the Canadian side, and they both run tours on their respective sides, right, on their boats. Anyway, there was this picture and it was so
this
priceless.
was during the pandemic.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was like during everything that's happening and everything, although it was quite a few weeks in the past.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a US boat, the Maid of the Mist they're called. This US boat, absolutely full to the rim of tourists. Like, so many people on this boat, like you could not fit another person on there. It was like crazy. And then you see the Canadian boat, which apparently at the time they had like stipulated that only a maximum of 6 people could go on the boat at a time.
Oh my God, 6 people. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the tour company, what they had done is the Canadian tour company had upped the price a little bit. And now it's like marketed as like a private tour. And it was actually quite popular.
Okay.
So people were going, the 6 people were going or whatever. And it's just such a great picture that showcases how different countries are handling this.
Yeah.
And I think like, it just, again, emphasizes, like, you look at how every single country is handling this differently, right? And I think you can see, like, it kind of highlights which countries are more of a mess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Look at Brazil. Oh my God.
Well, Brazil's number 2 now, right?
I think so. Wait, so, Mexico's also getting up there as well.
Yeah, a lot of countries.
But like, yeah, you can definitely see the differences between like the cultures and also governments and how they're handling, you know, this whole situation. But
the crazy thing is, so we've been watching like, so ever since we started this podcast, maybe not, well, obviously not right in the beginning because this wasn't such a big thing, but like, you know, when it like really hit globally in March and we were like reviewing this, I remember we would like talk about it and we were like, oh my God, it's been like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million cases worldwide, blah, 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 blah. Because we use this one website that we've been looking at. And
am I actually looking at this right?
Yeah. So now.
So today is what? What is the date today? Today is August 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, August 3rd.
August 3rd.
Yeah. And apparently, according to this site, so coronavirus cases globally, this includes people that have recovered and everything else as well. 18.4 million.
That is insane.
And almost 700,000 people have died.
That is crazy.
And I remember we were freaking out earlier and we were like, oh my God, this is crazy.
20,000. But now, like, do you think that, okay, so my parents were saying that like because virus is like a living thing, right?
Yeah.
So the purpose of the virus is to multiply.
Yeah.
So I heard that, I don't know, again, I don't know the exact facts, but basically the virus becomes less deadly because it learns that, you know, obviously in order for the virus to survive, it needs to spread to more people.
Yeah.
So people can't just die, right? So the whole point, so then it apparently the death rate ends up going down overall just because of the fact that the virus starts to like mutate and starts to learn that like, oh, if I kill off these people too quickly, then I die.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy how that works.
It's a weird
It's so
thing.
crazy because like it's still like a living organism. Like, of course, it's not like it doesn't have a mind, but it's still a living organism, and the point is to survive.
Well, it kind of goes back to that whole idea of like Darwin's theory of evolution.
Yes.
Because, you know, like, for example, like if you just look at the virus, if the stronger strains of the virus that really kill people, that part of the virus is going to die off faster because it kills the host, right? Whereas the other parts of the virus, which, you know, because like think about people, we're all a little bit different, right? So if one of us was a bit stronger and like, let's say I'm weaker, you're stronger, you kill your host right away, your strain is gone.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a bit weaker, so actually naturally it filters down and becomes a bit of a weaker virus. And actually it also re-emphasizes. Do you remember that Korean disease specialist or whatever that was talking, and he was like, in some ways it's good, in some ways this is a good thing, is the deadlier that a virus is, generally it's not going to be as spreading as this virus that we're having, because the thing is, if you're killing the host that you're living in, the chances of us spreading it to another person is diminished so much. So it's kind of a good thing that the death rate is coming down. I mean, it's still scary. A good thing.
I think that overall, maybe it's going to become like maybe like a flu type of situation in the future. Like now, because it's like maybe the death rate is going to go down. But the only thing, the scary thing is that this spreads so easily and so quickly.
Like so
fast. It's crazy. Oh my God. The USA. Goddamn US. What you be doing down there?
I know. It's like insane. It has spread just so quickly, like wildfire. But again, it just shows us again how interconnected we are as a world.
I know.
Now, and that's why I think this is the thing that's frustrating. It was funny. I was talking to my parents about this the other day as well, and they were saying, my dad was like, I feel like there should be like a world government, like for the whole world. And he was like, because like, if you look at the issues that we're facing now, they're global issues. Like there's nothing that you can isolate to one country. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, the US is clearly not handling this the best way, and they're having like a massive spike in numbers, but that's going to impact all of us. Do you know what I mean? So if there was like a governmental body, I'm not saying that there should be or whatever, but like, because like pandemics, because of global warming, because of, you know, food scarcities, all of these things, pollution, all of this are global problems.
Absolutely.
You can't say, oh, I'm this country. We're going to do our own thing. I'm this country. Like, you just can't do that.
And it impacts everyone else.
Exactly.
Does the UN supposedly do something like that? Like, technically, that's kind of the closest thing, I think, to having a world government.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, it's impossible to... it would be impossible almost. I mean, not impossible, but like, I mean, look at even the state of, you know, each government right now. It's already a mess. You can't even handle your own country, let alone having a governmental body to handle all the countries.
Well, exactly. And
but
like,
I mean, in an ideal world, yes, I absolutely agree with that.
But it's just so like, oh my God. Yeah. And these numbers are like really insanity. Scary.
So right now, US deaths almost at 160,000
people. Yeah.
God damn, and people still be protesting about the masks.
Oh my God, those masks. It's funny.
I saw mask protesters in Calgary.
You did not.
I totally did. My mom and I were driving and it wasn't a lot of people. It was like maybe like not even 100, maybe like 50. but we're like driving and they were like holding masks and being like freedom and shit like that. And then my mom was like, what is wrong with these people?
I know. The thing that's crazy is because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, wearing these masks and stuff is taking away my rights and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
The thing is, the government is not saying that you have to wear a mask always.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a mask 24/7. Where you have to wear a mask is like in public places where it's confined spaces, or if you can't socially distance. So like, that is your choice to go to those places. So like, if you're saying you're taking away my liberties, well, no, you have the choice to go there or not. So if you want to, and maybe I'm like thinking of this the wrong way, but like, you know, if you want to go into a grocery store to buy groceries, you've made that decision, you put a mask on. And, you know, like think about those stores that like back in the day, and they still have those, like no shirt, no shoes, no service.
That's the thing.
So like, and no one, I mean, I'm sure there were some protesters for this.
I doubt it.
I know, but it's become a kind of like an adamant thing. It's like, you should wear a shirt when you go into a store.
Yeah.
You should wear shoes. So, and now we're saying, okay, with this pandemic and stuff, it's just important to wear a mask. Yeah. So I just don't, again, and people are like, oh, this is taking away my rights and whatever else. But I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, I just don't understand. Like, okay, I have a mask on for a little while I'm on a bus or whatever else. How is this taking away my rights?
It's not. People just want to be dramatic.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
I seriously don't get it. But,
like,
you know, I mean, I don't know.
It'd be crazy.
People be crazy as hell.
It's just like one of those things. It's just like, you just kind of want to shake people sometimes. And you're just like, why?
Oh my God, these numbers are crazy.
I know, right? It's actually insane.
See, Mexico's getting up there with the deaths. It's really bad.
Yeah. See, like,
it feels weird because it's summer now. We're out, the lockdown is kind of over, kind of not, you know, but it almost, like it almost feels like it's over, but not, because I look at these numbers and it's insane. Yeah. So it's weird because when we were in the lockdown, like you knew that it was happening because you couldn't leave the house really. True. But now it's like, because you're still living your life. But then if you look at these numbers, you're like, damn, we're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
You're like, oh my God, like this shit's really happening. And the thing is like, if you look at the global graph of cases, the number of cases, like it shows you right here. It's like that number, daily new cases.
Oh my God, it's like spiking.
It's still going up. It's like following this kind of curve where it's going up and up and up and up. So at least the daily deaths is kind of like.
But I think it's going to go up again because, again, the new cases go for a bit and then the deaths follow, right? So because you don't get the new cases and then all of a sudden you get all the deaths right away, because the deaths follow like maybe a couple weeks after.
Yeah. Although, so recently there's been some breakthroughs, not with vaccines, but with medications that help mitigate symptoms. So I was watching this news thing just the other day where they said, I think in Canada, there's been 2 new drugs. They're kind of like, one of them was like some kind of steroids or something that doctors are using, which basically it doesn't cure you, but it really mitigates a lot of the symptoms. Okay.
Which could potentially help.
Exactly. Right? And it apparently it does have an impact on deaths.
Is it because of breathing? It helps you breathe?
Yeah, it helps. Right. It does something with like the lungs or whatever else, like the steroids.
Could be life or death.
Exactly. Right? So it does say, I think it like helps save more people.
Did you say that the US was hoarding this?
I heard a rumor, and again, I don't know. I didn't do enough research on this. So I don't know what the fact was, but there was another drug that was established again that helped with some of the symptoms and stuff. And I heard that the U.S. was hoarding it.
Hoarding? Oh, remdesivir. Yes, I've heard about remdesivir.
Oh yeah, here we go. So experts. So this is global news. There's only one license. Oh, this is actually the drug they were talking about. Yeah,
remdesivir.
So apparently, the U.S. has nearly hogged the entire global supply of this drug.
God. And then I've heard about this drug because they were saying that they created this drug and apparently they used a lot of US tax dollars to create this drug. But now because US has, you know, the private healthcare system, the treatment for it, like to actually get it is like, of course, a lot of money.
It's expensive.
Even though apparently the taxpayers paid for it. This drug.
This is so wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. It's like your tax dollars are used to pay for this drug and you can't even get access to it.
Something like that. I don't know if the facts are exactly like that, but it was something along those lines where, so then, you have to, it's going to funnel through the you know, insurance companies. And I've heard also, I don't know if it's this drug specifically, but I've heard that in China, they're going to make a copycat version of remdesivir and they're going to give it to all their citizens free of charge.
The only issue with the drugs and the reason why it takes so long, which does make me a little bit not skeptical, but like part of the reason why, you know how they're saying like typically for like viruses and things, it takes like, it can take up to, a couple years to develop a kind of antibodies, is because they have to do clinical trials, right? Yeah. So like a lot of these drugs that they're producing or doing whatever, it's like, and I'm not a health professional, so I don't know all of the ins and outs of it. Yeah. But like part of it is like you want to test what some of the like short and and long-term effects are of these drugs. And, if we're trying to whip out these drugs like really, really quick, which I understand why, I understand the pressure, but like if we get an antidote or whatever, or like a vaccine, and we push that out next year, let's say we get one next year, but it hasn't been properly tested, or it's kind of been pushed through as fast as possible, there could be serious side effects to that as well. So it's kind of like
oh God, it's so scary. What are we going to do?
Because you hear about those drugs that get recalled and things like this, right? Like you do have these situations happen. So I don't know. Well, I mean, it's kind of like we're waiting and seeing what happens, right? So.
Oh God, what are we supposed to do, Daniels?
I don't know. It'd be a goddamn pandemic.
Oh God, seriously, it's so bad.
Yeah. Be scary as all.
It's so crazy. This whole year, like more than half this year has been spent dealing with a pandemic.
Exactly.
This whole year, actually, because it started technically in 2019, right?
It did.
But I mean,
the first
it really
recorded
blew up,
case was November, I believe.
But it really blew up in like March all over the world.
Yeah.
In January, like more so in Asia, and I think in February in Europe maybe, and then March was just like
crazy. That's when everyone was like, "Oh my God."
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it feels like a distant memory though, hey? When we were in the pandemic, when we were in the quarantine mode, and you were in Spain, and we'd be recording this podcast, drinking wine, getting wasted.
Oh God, when are we going to drink wine again?
God damn, Daniels, I'll be drinking too much nowadays.
That's true.
I'm like, right now, the weather here is so good.
It
has been so sunny and actually really hot, and like, it's been so much better than like, you weren't here last summer, were you?
No.
But were you here last summer?
At the end of the summer, yeah.
So last year, it was kind of a shitty summer. Like we didn't have much of a summer, and it was like kind of raining a lot more, and it was colder, and it just wasn't that great. Yeah. And then this summer is like, I mean, for the last like week or so.
Well, actually, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been so good. I mean, it rains once in a while, but on the days like right now, it's like blue skies.
When I first arrived in June, so end of June,
you were like,
the first 2 weeks, it was like gray and rainy pretty much every single day.
Yeah.
Then after that, all of a sudden it was like beautiful weather. It's been like super sunny. And we do have the occasional rain. We've had a few like random like bouts of hail all of a sudden. But like it's been like so nice. Yeah. I'm like, these are the summers I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah. I know. It's so nice. It's just nice to be here, even though we can't travel and stuff. But
even just going and walking, even just like walking around, like the other day, Rose and I just went for a walk like all around downtown.
Nice. Should we go for a walk after today?
Damn. I don't know if we have time.
Oh, that's true. Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. God damn. We got so much shit happening.
Oh God, so much shit happening.
But no, I mean, it just... We'll just have to wait and see what happens with this pandemic. I mean, it's just...
I mean, the numbers here are like going up slightly.
Yeah.
Here
I mean, but it's a very slight. It's like, it's not... When you look at some of the other global numbers, it's like... Yeah.
But like, you have to realize that we have lower population density.
Hugely
so
lower.
It is still concerning. They say like, the high risk is like, going to a fitness class indoors.
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah. I've been avoiding. I haven't done any. Like I'm a big. I love my fitness classes so much. Like
but you
so
can't.
much. But I'm not doing that.
There was like a spin studio here where like 50 cases came out of it.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
like you can't. People are breathing, really
sweating.
There's in an enclosed space, even if you have less people.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You get to those classes and there's bodily fluids flying everywhere.
All over the goddamn place.
Got sweat. You got spit. You got that'd be disgusting as hell.
Is there any other updates, Daniel?
I don't think so.
Is there any other news stories to cover?
All
right, you guys. So, are we gonna touch on the Ellen situation?
Yeah, I just want to say a really quick thing because we did talk about Ellen last time. So there has been a little update. So apparently, Ellen DeGeneres had written a letter or like a response basically to her crew.
Right.
And in the letter, apparently she apologizes to the employees who have been treated unfair and not equal or worse, disregarded. And she blames any of the toxic behavior from the senior producers and also on her absence as a boss. And that she said
it says she blames any toxic behavior from senior producers on her absence as a boss.
Yeah.
So she's blaming herself because she was absent. Okay.
Exactly. And basically that they're taking steps to try to correct any of the issues. So
cool.
I think that's good. Like, I mean, as we said in the previous podcast, a
Yeah.
lot of this situation that was happening with her employees, again, how far removed is Ellen from what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the toxic stuff, no one directly named Ellen. It was more the corporate culture and
Yeah.
what was happening there with the senior producers. So, and it is good that she's taking responsibility
Yeah.
actually and stepping in and saying, look, we're going to try to.
She'd have to. God
Exactly.
damn. After
There's
all
been-
that backlash.
There's been so much
I
Ellen
know.
stuff happening.
I was like seeing like her name pop up so much,
Yeah.
and not for good reasons.
No.
But I mean, see, that's the shitty thing about being this type of figure, or having a show, or even having a corporation, and you're like the face of it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard. I get it. Like when you're,
Yeah.
when you're the top there, you're busy doing whatever it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
and it's hard to manage, I'm sure. So I feel for her at the same time. I don't know much about her. I don't know if she actually is a good person, or maybe she's a shitty ass person. Who knows?
Damn, we don't know these.
I should be friends with
situations.
George W. Bush.
Oh, God damn.
And also, one thing I wanted to mention about her friendship with George, again, we don't know how close they are. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
close they
It
are.
could have been that they just met each other at that event.
Exactly.
You know
They
what
were
I
just
mean?
being like cordial
Civil,
or
yeah.
whatever. But one thing what's interesting is that I'm pretty sure he's like very adamantly against gay marriage, and like very adamantly against just like gay people in general. So I found that kind of funny.
Ironic.
Yeah, because it's like, that's like the core of your existence, right?
Exactly.
That is like would you be friends with somebody that's like so against
No.
your rights as a human to
Why
exist?
would I?
and love?
Why would I be
Exactly.
friends with
So it's a
them?
bit weird. I don't
yeah.
know. I just found that very strange.
Very strange.
But when you're rich, you just hang out with rich people.
Apparently. God damn. Well, that's never gonna be me, so I'll never know what that's like.
You gonna be rich, Daniel. You gonna be rich.
God damn. I'll be rich in other areas, in love.
You be
and
rich in
friendship.
You be rich in love. Right now.
Someone I got to tell you about later, Rose.
Oh god damn! I thought
Just
we
kidding.
was gonna get married.
God damn.
We gonna start a different kind of marriage. A homosexual to heterosexual. What
God
you call it?
damn. I don't even know. But yeah, so that pretty much concludes today's episode.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah, a little bit of a tidbit as to global news and what's going on.
Yes, and complaining about motorists.
Oh God.
Being annoying as fuck. Is it motorists or no?
It's motorists.
Bikers, maybe. Isn't a motorist just anyone that drives anything?
And but some
Does it
people do
have
that
to
in
be-
cars as well. The revving.
Right.
Of the,
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
so annoying. Don't do
yeah,
that. by the
don't do
way.
that,
Just
guys.
public service announcement. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for
Thanks so
listening.
much
Once
watching.
again, if you guys want to hear the episodes earlier, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/The SaVeg Podcast. We also do a bonus episode every single month.
Yep.
So join us there, and of course, tell your friends, tell your family, tell
everyone. Tell your wives, tell your husbands, tell everyone. They be doing something to everyone out here.
If you're still in quarantine, maybe you want to go for a nice walk and listen to our podcast.
Exactly.
Okay. So thank you guys so much, and
Yeah.
we will see you next time.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.